was just coming at you about so because they had too much ammo. It's like I wasn't there. Now damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they.
The room was dead silent until it wasn't. A high-pitched gasp cut through the air as Rasheeda's hand smacked across Yandy's face with such force it echoed off the studio walls. Everyone froze. The cameras caught every frame. Security was too stunned to move. Lights flickered. Glass tipped. Somewhere in the distance, a crew member whispered, "This wasn't in the script." But baby, this wasn't acting. This was real. Just seconds before, Yandy had stepped into the room with her signature calm, chin up, heels clicking like a queen entering court, but Rasheeda was already there, seething. Her eyes were bloodshot from rage, voice trembling from what she'd just learned. A betrayal had surfaced, one so deep it unraveled years of friendship, loyalty, and silence. And she didn't come for conversation, she came for justice. "You think I didn't know?" Rasheeda spat, her voice like fire. Yandy's eyes widened, but it was too late. The slap landed with the weight of everything they'd buried. And then came the scream. Not from Yandy, but from someone behind the cameras. Something had been exposed. Something no one was supposed to hear. And now, there was no going back. Before the slap, before the cameras, before the lights even flickered on, Rasheeda and Yandy were sisters in spirit. At least that's what everyone thought. Behind every shared Instagram post and carefully edited love and hip-hop reunion smile was a vault of buried tension, rivalry, and unspoken truths that neither dared to voice. Their bond had started years ago, back when both women were still clawing their way up in a male-dominated industry, finding solidarity and sisterhood, and forming what looked like an unbreakable alliance. But beneath it all, seeds of envy and betrayal were already taking root. The deeper they bonded, the more their wounds intertwined. Rasheeda, the original Georgia peach, built her empire brick by brick. She had been through it all: Kirk's infidelities, business setbacks, fake friends, public humiliation, but through it all, she wore her struggle like armor. She prided herself on loyalty, longevity, and survival. Yandy, on the other hand, rose through the ranks as the polished manager, the polished mother, and the polished wife. But to Rasheeda, that polish always looked like cover-up. To her, Yandy had mastered the art of image curation, of smiling through chaos and painting dysfunction as devotion. And nothing irked Rasheeda more than watching someone fake perfection while privately falling apart. Their friendship began to sour the moment Mendices entered the equation. At first, Rasheeda tried to keep it cute. She'd smile, nod, play nice. But deep down, she questioned everything about Mendices, his motives, his faithfulness, and the shadow he cast over Yandy's career. And it wasn't just about M. It was the way Yandy clung to a fairy tale even as the cracks showed. The way she'd defend M with her whole chest one day, then cry to the girls the next. Rasheeda had seen this playbook before. It looked a lot like her own past. But instead of empathy, what bubbled up inside her was resentment. Because she had survived Kirk's betrayal, and it nearly broke her. Watching Yandy choose that chaos willingly felt like a slap to her face. Then came Erica. The missing puzzle piece neither woman wanted to admit still mattered. Erica wasn't just Mendices' ex, she was the original blueprint. The one who had loved him before the fame, before the filters, before the TV lights. And Rasheeda knew it. She had spoken with Erica during events, exchanged guarded looks, traded subtle shade. And every time M's name came up, Rasheeda would clock that flicker in Erica's eyes, the one that said unfinished business. She carried that knowledge in silence until it became ammunition. When M was locked up, Yandy held it down. Nobody could deny that. She wore the prison visits like badges of honor, raised the kids, kept the household intact. But what no one knew was that Rasheeda questioned every second of it. "Is it loyalty or just pride keeping you here?" she'd asked one night after filming, tipsy off wine and frustration. Yandy had brushed it off then, but the words sank in like poison. The betrayal wasn't just about men, it was about principles. About how one woman could parade loyalty while the other swallowed humiliation. About how Yandy played wife while Rasheeda felt like she had paid the price for being one. And slowly, the cracks widened. Yandy stopped inviting Rasheeda to certain events. Rasheeda started making slick comments in her confessionals. And then, there was the rumor, the one that no one dared say out loud. The whisper that Yandy had never legally married Mendices. That after all the public displays of wife Dom, the legal paperwork never existed. Rasheeda heard it first through an industry assistant. "Chili, I think it was just for show," the girl had whispered. Rasheeda didn't want to believe it, until she realized it explained everything. The distance. The avoidance. The reason Yandy would get so defensive when M's loyalty was questioned. It wasn't just pride, it was fear. Fear that the illusion would collapse. So by the time they walked into that studio on the day of the slap, the room was already soaked in secrets. Rasheeda knew about the texts between Yandy and Carlos King, the ones M had discovered and tried to use as leverage. She knew about the silent arguments off camera. She knew about the therapy that didn't work, the late-night calls to Erica, the baby mama group chats spilling truths no NDA could contain. And most of all, she knew Yandy was barely holding on. What nobody expected, however, was that Rasheeda would be the one to light the match. But after years of biting her tongue, watching her friend unravel behind a facade of strength, she couldn't do it anymore. "You're not just lying to him, you're lying to yourself," she snapped. And when Yandy dared to respond with denial, Rasheeda didn't scream. She slapped her. Because in that moment, words weren't enough. And now, there's no coming back. The slap echoed louder than the cameras could capture. Rasheeda's palm met Yandy's cheek with a sharpness that silenced the entire room, and every mask shattered. For one suspended second, no one moved. No one breathed. The crew, the producers, the cast, everyone froze. Yandy staggered back, her face turning crimson as her eyes locked with Rasheeda's. This wasn't reality TV drama anymore. This was real, raw, and unrehearsed. "What did you just do?" Yandy hissed, her voice low but trembling with disbelief. Rasheeda's hand was still twitching. She didn't regret it. Not in the slightest. "What I should have done years ago," she spat. "You've been lying to all of us, pretending you're some victim. You're not." Yandy blinked through the sting in her eyes. It wasn't the slap that hurt, it was what followed. "Lying? Me?" she scoffed, trying to steady her voice. "You're the one who's been waiting for this. You've been jealous since day one. Admit it." Rasheeda stepped closer, her voice like fire. "This was never about jealousy. This was about using every single one of us as a prop to keep your little empire from falling apart." And just like that, the room descended into chaos. Flashback to 3 months earlier. It started with whispers. Backroom murmurs during production. Paparazzi shots of Yandy leaving private dinners with Carlos King. Social media detectives were piecing together timelines that didn't add up. Yandy claimed she was working late on her upcoming project, but footage showed her slipping out of a downtown Atlanta restaurant at midnight, laughing, her hand grazing Carlos's back. He wasn't just a producer anymore. He had become her confidant. Some would later say, her escape. Behind the scenes, Mendices had grown paranoid. He started questioning everything. Her travel schedule, her filming blocks, even her social media captions. One night, after a particularly brutal argument, he went through her phone. And what he found wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. Messages between Yandy and Carlos stretched back over a year. Flirty, cryptic, emotional. But it wasn't the words that broke him. It was the photo. Yandy in a hotel room mirror. Alone. Smiling. Wearing a robe she told him she never packed. From that moment on, Mendices was a man unraveling. He began dropping hints in confessionals. Marriage is trust, he'd say. And, sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones who pull the rug from under you. Fans thought he was being poetic. He wasn't. He was trying to say it without saying it. Back to the present. "You told me you were alone that night," M's voice thundered from off-camera. He had entered the room just in time to hear the tail end of their blow-up. The moment he spoke, everyone turned. Yandy spun around, shaken. "You said we weren't going to do this here." He laughed, dry, humorless. "Oh, now you care about timing? Now it matters." The room was spinning. Rasheeda, breathing heavy, didn't move. She had thrown the match. Now she was watching the blaze. You knew she was cheating, Rasheeda said to M. You knew. And you blamed me for tearing this family apart. M turned to her, his face contorted with conflict. I didn't want to believe it. But you did, Rasheeda snapped. That's why you ran to Erica, isn't it? The air shifted. Everyone flinched. Yandy's eyes widened. What did you say? Rasheeda stepped forward, venom in every syllable. Tell her, M, tell her you've been back with Erica. That she's not just your past, she's your present. Yandy's knees nearly buckled. That's not true, she whispered. But M didn't deny it. Instead, he looked away. Silence. The truth was worse than the betrayal. It was the confirmation that her worst fears had come to life. The late-night texts, the unexplained absences, the sudden reconnect with his other kids, Yandy had dismissed them all. Gaslight herself into believing she was still his queen. But now the crown was slipping. And it was Erica, her oldest rival, who had been waiting in the shadows to snatch it. The twist that changed everything. And then, out of nowhere, it happened. A phone rang. A producer answered, his face pale as he listened. It's TMZ, he said, barely above a whisper. They're dropping something, right now. Everyone turned toward the nearest screen. A producer pulled up the breaking news. Breaking. Leaked hospital records reveal Erica is pregnant and Mendices is the father. Yandy let out a sound that wasn't quite a scream and not quite a sob. Her body collapsed into the nearest chair. Rasheeda's hand flew to her mouth. Even M's face drained of all color. The headline blazed. Not only had M gone back to Erica, he had gotten her pregnant. The room descended into chaos. Crew members whispered. Camera operators lowered their gear. The director whispered into his headset, keep filming. This is gold. But no one was thinking about the show anymore. This was no longer a storyline. This was real life shattering on live television. I didn't know, M stammered. I swear I didn't know she was. Yandy stared at him with hollow eyes. Save it. You've been lying to me for months. Don't stop now. But she wasn't crying anymore. Her silence was more terrifying than her screams. Is this why you've been cold? She asked, her voice like glass. Is this why you've been punishing me every time I tried to get close? I was trying to protect you, he began. Protect me? She laughed bitterly. You impregnated the one woman who's done everything to destroy me. That's not protection. That's war. And then, she turned to Rasheeda. You knew? She whispered. Rasheeda hesitated. I heard things. You knew. Yandy shouted. And you slapped me? You knew and still put on this whole show. I didn't want to hurt you, Rasheeda replied. You wanted to punish me, Yandy spat. For not being the broken woman you needed me to be. And there it was. The heart of it all. The years of competition disguised as care. The jealousy masked as concern. The friendship that had never really been about love, just survival. As Yandy stormed out of the room, mic still hot, the entire cast stood in stunned silence. This wasn't just betrayal. This was an implosion. And no one saw it coming. The moment Yandy stormed out, the room detonated into whispers, movement, and frantic damage control. Production assistants scrambled to kill the cameras, but the damage was done. Rasheeda stood frozen, her chest heaving with rage and regret. Mendices dropped into a chair, burying his head in his hands. This wasn't supposed to go like this, he muttered. But no one was listening anymore. What had started as a confrontation had evolved into a full-blown war, and the internet was already eating it up. Backstage, Yandy wasn't just crying. She was transforming. One assistant tried to hand her tissues, but she pushed them away. Call Mona, she said coldly. Now. Mona Scott Young, the queen behind the love and hip-hop empire, was known for turning pain into ratings, but even she hadn't prepared for this level of unfiltered collapse. Yandy was done playing a role. She wasn't here to be anyone's martyr or messiah. She was about to rewrite the whole narrative. Meanwhile, chaos spread like wildfire. Within hours, blog sites had picked up the slap. Footage leaked. TikTok was ablaze with remixes, lip syncs, and side-by-side reaction videos. Hashtag Rasheeda slaps Yandy was trending in 4 countries. But buried within the digital frenzy, something darker stirred. An anonymous source sent an encrypted email to multiple gossip blogs titled, "The Real Reason Rasheeda Snapped." Attached was a PDF, a scanned journal page. Handwritten. Torn at the edges. It was addressed to but not from Yandy. The signature read, K.B. K.B. The initials of Kirk's ex, Kendra Bailey. The internet held its breath. The letter revealed that Kendra had once been involved with Mendices years ago. Before Yandy. Before Erica. And the bombshell? It wasn't just a fling. Kendra had gotten pregnant. And she claimed Rasheeda convinced her to terminate it so M's future wouldn't be ruined. The letter read, "I did it for you. For your career. For the image. Rasheeda said we had to protect your rise. But I died a little inside. I'll never forgive either of you. I just hope the truth finds its way out." And now it had. Rasheeda's slap wasn't about Yandy. It was about guilt. Suppressed rage. The unraveling of a secret she buried so deep, it festered inside her like rot. When the blogs hit publish, everything shifted. Rasheeda's DMs filled with backlash. How could you? You were supposed to be the real one. Protecting a man while silencing a woman's pain? The feminist bloggers were furious. The streets of Instagram turned cold. Even Bambi unfollowed her. Rasheeda tried to get ahead of the storm, but the damage was irreversible. She released a statement claiming the journal was fake, but forensic handwriting analysts online compared it to old footage of Kendra's diaries from Love and Hip Hop ATL. The loop was closed. Meanwhile, Yandy was done being quiet. On her IG Live, she came for everyone. "I stood by this man through court cases, prison sentences, and public humiliation," she said, tears in her eyes but fire in her voice. "I held down our home while he chased his ego. And when I dared to step out of the shadow he built, y'all slapped me. Literally. Figuratively. But let me tell you something. I'm not the villain. I'm the survivor." The live broke records. 5.6 million views in 24 hours. And then came the second major twist. Erica Mena dropped her own bombshell. Tired of being labeled the other woman, she posted a thread of screenshots from her private convos with Mendices. The timestamps were critical. They showed that even while Yandy and M were filming couples therapy, he was actively texting Erica about escape plans and resetting life. But the worst? A voice memo from M to Erica where he said, "She's the brand, not the woman. I respect her grind, but she was never the one." The internet exploded. Fans who had defended M were devastated. The man they rooted for had reduced Yandy, an empire builder, mother, and rock, to a PR tool. The memo trended with the hashtag she was never the one. Yandy didn't even respond publicly. She didn't have to. Backstage, Mona was planning something ruthless. "You're not filming this season anymore," she told M bluntly. "You're stepping away, or we air everything." Mendices protested, but Mona wasn't playing. "The network has enough content to destroy you 3 times over. This ain't your redemption arc, baby. This is your reckoning." He left that meeting broken. And the crew? They whispered among themselves, speculating that the slap wasn't even the worst thing that happened that night. One assistant claimed that after the camera shut down, Mendices tried to confront Yandy again, off-screen, and was physically escorted out of the studio by security. "They thought he was gonna hit her," the assistant whispered. But then came the most chilling part. A new letter arrived. This time, addressed to Erica. No name, just a wax seal and parchment. Inside were ultrasound photos. Not Erica's. Another woman's. Dated only weeks after M's prison release. A scrawled note. "You were never the only one. Neither was she. M's got secrets buried deeper than you all think." The twist hit like lightning. Was M hiding another woman? Another child? Erica went silent. Yandy logged off. Rasheeda deleted her Instagram. The final image fans were left with? A still frame of Yandy standing beneath studio lights, makeup smudged, eyes hollow, chin held high. A queen dethroned, but not destroyed. Not yet. The fallout was instant. Within 24 hours, what started as a private confrontation between Rasheeda and Yandy turned into a full-blown national scandal. No longer confined to a reality TV taping, the drama exploded across every corner of the internet. Bloggers, influencers, even talk show hosts weighed in on what had become the most volatile episode in love and hip-hop history. The court of public opinion. Rasheeda's slap wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. Fans and critics alike dissected the moment frame by frame. Was it justified? Was it rage? Was it years of betrayal finally erupting? TikTok lives, reaction channels, and podcast panels dedicated entire segments to the slap. One user went viral with a side-by-side edit comparing Rasheeda's hit to classic VH1 moments, captioned, "When keeping it real goes realer." That clip alone garnered 2.4 million views in 12 hours. But beneath the viral noise, something more serious was unfolding. Public sentiment began to fracture. Some rallied behind Rasheeda, citing years of watching Yandy play the victim while maneuvering behind closed doors. Others empathized deeply with Yandy, especially after the leaked audio of Mendice's voice memo calling her just a brand, but never the one. That one statement opened a floodgate. The emotional unraveling. Yandy went dark for 48 hours after the IG Live, prompting concerns from fans and family. When she finally reappeared, it was on her YouTube channel, barefaced, solemn, and raw. No intro music. No filters. Just truth. "I've spent so much of my life trying to be everything for everyone," she said. The ride-or-die wife. The loyal friend. The woman who forgives. But now? I don't know who I am anymore. Comments poured in, supportive, devastated, outraged. People who had once criticized Yandy were apologizing. "We didn't know the whole story. You deserved better. You held him down just to get dragged." Turning Point's silent collapse. Meanwhile, inside the production offices of Love and Hip Hop, producers were scrambling. The footage of the slap, the off-camera meltdown, and the Erica screenshots presented an editorial goldmine, but also a legal nightmare. Rasheeda's team reportedly issued a cease and desist on certain scenes, claiming narrative manipulation and personal targeting. Mona Scott Young remained eerily quiet, fueling speculation that even she was unsure how to control the beast she had unleashed. Behind the scenes, the network debated pulling the episode. Sponsors threatened to withdraw. Legal advisors warned of liability. But the audience? They demanded more. The streets talk back. In Atlanta, fans organized what they called a T-Vigil, a flash mob-style gathering outside the studio gates where supporters chanted, "Justice for Yandy," and held up signs that read #SheDeservedMore and #FamilyOverFame. Erica Mena trended again, this time as fans flooded her comments asking if she had really known M was juggling multiple women and hiding a potential child. The whispers turned into roars. A mysterious blogger posted supposed screenshots from another woman, one who claimed to have been involved with M during his prison stint. "He told me Yandy was only the face. That their marriage was for show. Family feuds and splintering support." But the deepest cracks showed within the families themselves. Judy, Mendice's mother, finally spoke out in a now-deleted Facebook Live. "I raised a son to stand tall. Not lie, cheat, and humiliate women. But maybe the fame made him forget his roots." Her candid words sent shockwaves across platforms. Even she was no longer defending him. Yandy's own sister went live on TikTok, breaking down in tears. "We tried to tell her. We begged her to walk away. But she wanted her family more than her pride." Mendice's, for his part, was spinning out. An insider revealed that he was reaching out to former PR reps, trying to craft an apology tour. But every time he drafted a statement, another secret dropped. It became clear his silence wasn't strategy. It was collapse. Rasheeda's regret? Even Rasheeda, the catalyst of the confrontation, began to crack. She posted a cryptic message to her stories. "Sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. It just burns everything down." Sources close to her say she's battling guilt, especially after the leak of the Kendra Journal and the abortion cover-up. One crew member confessed, Rasheeda didn't slap Yandy out of hate. She slapped her out of grief, grief she's been carrying for years. The emotional history had come full circle. And Erica? She went silent. Not a word. Not a post. not a denial. Fans speculated she was laying low because of the ultrasound letter that hinted at M's third mistress, or worse, another baby. The silence was louder than a scream. Everyone watching, nobody healing. No one emerged unscathed. Not Yandy. Not Rasheeda. Not M. Not Erica. Not even the viewers. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. I came for the drama. I stayed for the trauma. Just when everyone thought the dust was settling, just when fans began picking sides and family members were recovering from the emotional carnage, a new bombshell landed that turned everything upside down again. It started with a leaked video clip. No fancy edits, no music, no timestamp. Just a shaky cell phone recording of Mendices standing outside an upscale Atlanta restaurant with Kendra. That's right, Scrappy's estranged wife and one of Rasheeda's closest allies. The two weren't holding hands or doing anything overtly romantic, but the tension between them? Unmistakable. They were arguing, quiet, intense, and way too familiar. You don't look at someone like that unless there's history or something more. Within minutes, blogs had the footage. Mendices and Kendra, what are they hiding? Theories ignited. Was she the real wedge between him and Yandy? Had the slap from Rasheeda not been about old wounds, but a desperate move to bury this deeper betrayal? As speculation ran wild, another blow came from the unlikeliest of places. A former Love and hip-hop camera assistant anonymously leaked a discarded audio reel to a gossip podcast. On the reel? A candid, off-camera moment from earlier that week. Yandy and Rasheeda, mid-argument, had been unknowingly recorded. And what Yandy said shattered everything. I know about Kendra. I know she's been in his DMs. I've seen the messages. But you want to slap me like I'm the problem? Gasps echoed across the internet. Yandy had known. Rasheeda had known. And yet, the slap still happened? Was it guilt? Was it deflection? The internet was in chaos. Screenshots surfaced, allegedly showing deleted texts between Kendra and Mendices from months ago. Flirty, secretive, and unmistakably real. You're the only one who understands me, one message read. Another ended with, can't wait to see you again, in private. Scrappy went live. Visibly enraged, pacing in his driveway. Y'all want to play with my name now? My wife? With him. His voice shook. If that man stepped near Kendra while I was trying to hold my family together, best believe it ain't over. That single live drew nearly 1 million viewers in an hour. But the final blow came not from Scrappy, not from Yandy, not even from Mendices, but from Erica. In an unannounced Instagram story, she posted a photo of a positive pregnancy test, no caption. Just a black background. And then, 10 minutes later, she dropped a bombshell video. Calm, direct, eyes locked on the camera. While everyone's playing house, fighting on camera, and crying online, let me remind you. I've always been the one he came back to. And now, he's not just back. He's staying. The comments section exploded. Wait. Erica's pregnant with Mendices' baby. Did Rasheeda know this before the slap? Yandy held him down for years just to get traded for this? But it wasn't over yet. A hidden voicemail surfaced, posted by a popular Atlanta blogger who claimed to have been gifted the audio by someone in Rasheeda's circle. The voice? Mendices. Desperate, vulnerable, and breaking down. I don't know who I am anymore. I never meant to hurt Yandy, but I feel like I've been living someone else's life. Kendra, she makes me feel real again. But Erica, she's the only one who never left. That was it. The final twist. This wasn't just a cheating scandal. This was a collapse of identity, a man torn between 3 women, each representing a different part of the life he had tried to build, destroy, and rebuild again. Rasheeda, Yandy, Erica, and now Kendra. The audience was stunned. No one knew who to believe anymore. Every woman was hurt. Every truth was layered in betrayal. Every moment blurred the lines between loyalty, love, and survival. And just when it couldn't get any more chaotic, VH1 dropped the teaser for the reunion episode. In the final frame, the host gasps. Wait, you're saying one of you was pregnant with M's baby at the same time he was living with another? Fade to black. So now that you've seen it all, the betrayal, the secrets, The tears and the slap heard round reality TV. You tell us, was Rasheeda justified? Did Yandy go too far? Or is Mendices the one who played everybody? Let's not pretend this was just another love and hip-hop moment. This was years of loyalty, jealousy, buried drama, and emotional explosions finally erupting on camera. We're not just talking about spilled tea, we're talking about a broken dynasty. A friendship turned battlefield. A love triangle with more twists than a season finale cliffhanger. And now, the truth is out and nothing will ever be the same. Do you think Kendra was the real trigger all along? Is Erica's pregnancy announcement the final dagger? Or is Yandy hiding something even deeper than we know? And let's not forget Rasheeda's slap, a moment that may have started this wildfire, but was it fire or fuel for something darker? Here's the question we leave you with. If you knew your friend was hiding betrayal behind a smile, would you stay silent or slap the truth out of them? Drop your answers in the comments right now. Was this drama about love or power? Loyalty or survival? Fire smash that like button if you're here for the real truth. Bell subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, because you know this storm isn't over. And share this video with someone who still thinks reality TV doesn't get this real. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay messy, stay curious, and stay watching. Collision.